Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. I am so incredibly pumped for this one because we are tackling something absolutely fascinating today. Our goal? We are going to completely deconstruct the legendary, seemingly supernatural invisible attack used by James Lee in the hit manhwa series Lookism. We're going to take this iconic, flashy fighting style and prove that its roots are actually firmly planted in elite, real-world sports science. All right, let's dive right in and uncover the truth behind the ultimate combat technique.
I mean, it's a pretty terrifying question, isn't it? In the universe of Lookism, gang wars and street brawls basically dictate survival, but sitting way above all of that is James Lee, the undisputed peak. The guy systematically dismantled an entire generation of warriors without a single loss in a fair fight. And his signature move? Strikes that land before your brain can even register that you're being threatened. It hooks our imagination exactly because it feels so impossible. Seriously, how do you defend against a ghost?
So let's get our definitions straight here. An invisible attack is defined as a form of fighting mastery where a combatant attacks an opponent's anatomical blind spots at inhuman speeds, making the strike imperceptible. What makes James Lee's fighting style so devastating is that it operates completely outside the realm of standard martial arts. He isn't just, throwing really fast punches, he's using this lethal combination of extreme velocity and an elite battle IQ that basically functions like a high-tech targeting computer, calculating visual dead zones in mere milliseconds.
Here is our blueprint for today. We'll cover 1. Anatomy of invisible attacks. 2. Building God-tier speed. 3. The biomechanics of striking. 4. Targeting anatomical blind spots. And 5. The ultimate synergy.
Okay, jumping into Section 1, Anatomy of Invisible Attacks, Myth versus Reality.
We really want to test this superhuman anime mastery against gritty athletic reality. Take a look at this silhouette of Usain Bolt. When we talk about the bridge between anime legends and real-world athletic legends, this is exactly it. Bolt didn't just run fast, he elevated sprinting to this unprecedented level of excellence. By looking at athletes of his caliber, we can actually see that peak human performance frequently borders on the supernatural. Real-world God-tier speed isn't magic, guys. It is meticulously engineered.
Moving right along to Section 2, Building God-tier Speed, the Framework of Velocity.
To really understand this framework, we gotta strip away the anime flair and look at the hard data. If you want to move like James Lee, you have to study the greatest sprinters. Usain Bolt's legendary coach, Glenn Mills, didn't just tell him to run harder. No way. He built a rigorously engineered 4-phase sprint model: block start, acceleration, top-end speed, and deceleration. Mills literally spent years rebuilding Bolt's stride mechanics from scratch, emphasizing that true speed is built on core stability and biomechanical perfection, not just raw power. Things like high knee marches, A-skips, bounding plyometrics. This is the real-world blueprint for moving so fast your opponent physically cannot react.
Let's put a tangible metric on this elite speed. 38 kilometers per hour. That is the top recorded speed of Kylian Mbappé, currently the fastest footballer in the world. Extreme pace like this creates instant separation, and these totally unblockable moments in any sport. Whether it's a winger blowing past a defensive line on a football pitch, or James Lee just bursting into a combatant's blind spot, that kind of blistering acceleration renders the opponent's defenses utterly irrelevant.
All right, on to Section 3, the biomechanics of striking, translating speed to power.
Now you might be wondering, does running fast actually mean you hit hard? Well, look at the data from a biomechanics study of 39 amateur boxers at a world championship tournament. Researchers used specialized motion analysis and force dummies to find out what really creates a heavy punch. And the results? Get this. Pre-impact hand velocity had a correlation to punch force of 0.380 for hooks and up to 0.391 for straights. Now compare that to the lower body forces, stuff like leg drive and hip power, which were only sitting around 0.100. This scientifically proves that hand speed right before impact is a way more reliable indicator of force than raw hip power or lower body mechanics.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is this. Moving at blinding speeds isn't just for deception. Mathematically and biomechanically, high hand velocity is exactly what generates the massive, concussive impact you need for an unblockable attack. When James Lee moves faster than the eye can see, he isn't just tricking you. He's weaponizing velocity to generate terrifying kinetic energy. Hand velocity truly is the ultimate weapon.
Section 4. Targeting anatomical blind spots, the mind and the eyes.
Okay, but speed alone doesn't make an attack invisible, right? Let's slow things down a bit and look at cognitive processing. To understand why an attack becomes invisible, we have to look at how humans actually react. Reaction time is made up of three parts: visual perception, which is recognizing the movement; cognitive processing speed, deciding how to respond; and muscle response time, actually executing the block. An invisible attack surgically targets those cognitive dead zones. It hits the visual blind spots so incredibly fast that it literally outpaces the opponent's brain. The stimulus is never processed, so the brain never tells the muscles to block. You are hit before you even know you're in a fight.
So how do real athletes train for this? Through intense, grueling sweat equity drills. Elite athletes use reaction balls that bounce unpredictably to sharpen their visual perception. They use mirror drills to train instant reactions to an opponent's exact movements. They even use automated light and sound drills, like the ones developed by Skytech Sport, to decrease cognitive processing time. This real-world training completely bridges the gap to James Lee's analytical, instantaneous combat predictions. He is constantly reading posture and executing strikes in the exact fraction of a second his opponent is cognitively lagging.
And finally, Section 5, the ultimate synergy, reconstructing the attack.
It's time to bring these two massive pillars together. When we visually contrast these concepts, it all just clicks into place. On one side, we have speed mastery, the sprint mechanics, those 38 km/h bursts, the peak hand velocity. On the other side, technique mastery, finding the visual dead zones and exploiting cognitive lag. Think about it. Without technique, you just have a really fast punch that a skilled fighter can still predict and block. And without speed? Well, knowing where a blind spot is doesn't matter at all because you simply can't reach it in time. They absolutely have to exist together.
As fans in the Lookism community have brilliantly theorized, invisible attack equals speed plus technique. Simple as that. And guys, this is the core finding of our explainer today. The invisible attack isn't some mystical anime magic. It is the flawless, synergistic execution of peak athletic science. It is elite biomechanics, perfectly layered over an absolute masterclass in cognitive processing and spatial awareness.
To wrap this up, I want to leave you with a thought that kind of challenges our very perception of human limits. Science tells us that a well-trained brain takes roughly 0.2 seconds to process a visual stimulus and react. So the next time you watch a fight, ask yourself, in that tiny, fleeting fraction of a second, just how fast is your opponent moving? Keep learning, keep analyzing, and I really hope this explainer completely changes how you view the science of combat. See you next time.